Alright, this is going to be a breakdown video of the Macdev Prime. This breakdown will be the same for the Prime, the XTS, the Clone 5 Infinity, and very similar on the XDR. Only differences between the few are going to be the eye covers and maybe the disassembly of the trigger, but I'm not going to go into the taking apart of the trigger. While I'm doing this, I'm also going to be replacing my silver hardware with black hardware just because I think it looks better. I'll be replacing a few of the key O-rings. You'll need only a few tools for this. A 1/4-inch Allen, 1/8 inch, 3/32, and a 5/64. And a O-ring pick is always pretty handy to have. So let's start with the screws. This is your 5/64. Take these out. There's two on one side, one on the other. We're going to go into the regulator first. For that, you'll need your 1/4 inch. Just give it a twist. Plunger's still in there. So you can think I'm taking this apart, it's dirty. So just microfiber towels, all you need. Wipe that off. Need to do your regulator maybe every 10 cases or every 20,000 shots. Will do just fine. I'm not going to replace these O-rings on them, they look fine. But if I were, that is a 011 or a number 11, I think is what Macdev calls them. Another 11, a 12, and then there's a 08. That is, let's see if we can get that focus in there. No, there it is. It's on the inside of that. For grease, I'm just using a regular Dow 33. Any paintball grease will work just fine, or silicone-based grease. Gunk in there, just some Q-tips. Let's get that nice and cleaned out. Back in. No reason to over tighten it, just make sure it sits flush. There you go. Take these two screws off, your 1/8. Not much to really worry about here, just make sure that O-ring right there is in good shape. Make sure your contacts are clean. Make sure everything in there is clean. Make sure those contacts are in good shape. I'll throw just a little tiny bit of grease on that O-ring to help it seal up. Oops, get that screw out of there. I'll sit back in there. Using some black oxide screws instead. Pop your drive up. pull it on out. Set the marker body aside. So this is your main drive. Comes apart 3 major spots. It's your front of your can, your bolt. There's your valve assembly. And your fill valve back here. This one doesn't need to be replaced very often, but we're going to replace it anyway, just so I know it has fresh O-rings all the way throughout. This is a 016. Pop that sucker off. Wipe down. Fresh 016. Little grease. Screws back together. You don't really ever need to worry about these outside can O-rings, just the ones that actually have moving parts on them. Replace this one as well. It's your valve O-ring. That is a 014. Got a couple of them right there. A little bit of grease. There's your bolt, the bolt buffer right here. It's another 014. And this is the one that causes the most problems we see. This is the 16x2. A lot of times you'll see it replaced with a 016, and it will cause the marker not to fire. Let's get what we call chuffing. It'll just kind of puff and not actually cycle. So, new 014. And new 16x2 bolt sail. A little bit of grease on that. And then for the can, there's 2 O-rings inside. This one's a 017 on the front, and back in here is a 019. So to get those out, use your O-ring pick. And it just comes right out. That one's a bit harder to get into. You have to reach your O-ring pick down in there. Careful not to scratch the inside of your keg. There we go. New 017. Oops, missed it. Same. 019. Come on. It's not cooperating. There we go. Then just take a little bit of grease up in there. There. And make sure that goes back and forth nice and smooth. Should have a little bit of resistance, but not too much. Screw that back together. Make sure it's tight, not too tight obviously, but tight enough. Back together. And get to your eyes as a 3/32. Check your detents, make sure they're in good shape. You can buy these directly from Macdev, or Intimidator or Spider Eyes or detents will work in a pinch. Eyes are looking pretty clean, but give them a quick little wipe down. Oh, come on. Placing those with some black oxide screws as well. Get your grips back on. Notice those little notches. Make sure that those are seated in to the top of the frame. And that is complete disassembly and replacing all of the actual internal O-rings of the Macdev Prime.